Hey guys, Whitney here, and welcome to TEFLPros. On today's call, I sat down with Dave Rankin. He's the owner of a company called VisaForce in the Czech Republic. And Dave's story is really cool. He grew up in Pittsburgh, ended up moving to the Czech Republic, to Prague, to get his TEFL certification and begin teaching English. And then later he formed this company, VisaForce, to help others do the same. So if the Czech Republic has been on your travel list, if it's one of those places that you dreamed of visiting and possibly teaching in overseas, then sit back, relax, and enjoy hearing about Dave's experience living, teaching, and owning a business in the Czech Republic. Hey, Dave.
Hello, Whitney. Pleasure to be here.
Thanks for joining me today and sharing some of your thoughts with us about life in the Czech Republic and just your experience as TEFL educator, VisaForce owner extraordinaire.
Absolutely, thank you, and I can't wait to answer your questions and maybe shed some light on a really beautiful part of the world that maybe a lot of people never thought of or gave consideration to.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's hop straight in. Could you just start off, Dave, and share a little bit with folks about your background? So kind of prior to getting your TEFL and moving overseas to teach, just give us a little background on what that looked like for you.
Absolutely. I mean, well, generally speaking, I come from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, go Steelers, a very blue collar city. And, I love the fact that I'm from Pittsburgh, but, I come, good family, good educational background, things like that. But I never had that booming call, of what I should be, whether I should be a marine biologist or an architect. So while I was searching for this calling in life, I just started taking these blue collar jobs. And as time went on, through my late teens into my early 20s, even into my late 20s, I found myself doing more just, factory work, mill work, more just what would someone pay me to do? And that mostly landed on actually truck driving. I was a truck driver for most of the time, most of my
Wow.
and so, I started almost getting a little bit jealous of my friends, as to, because, a lot of my friends have become very successful and I'm just sitting here, driving my truck to and from major cities, fun, but, you see these people, and as you get older, as your early 20s are fun filled, it's a good time, but then you're like, where's life going? Things like that. And I really didn't have a whole lot of, I couldn't just grab on something and say, this is what I want to be. And it wasn't until my truck driving career ended when a friend of mine, I was actually going into Pittsburgh for a job interview. I saw her on the trolley going into the city, and she told me she took a TEFL course and was an English teacher abroad, and I thought that was the coolest thing. And I almost blew off the interview just to go and look up this ESL. I never heard of that. I only knew teachers like in a school. I never heard of ESL or TEFL. Never heard any of these words or phrases before. So I went and checked it out.
It is an industry with a lot of weird acronyms. I can definitely say that. Yes.
So, more than I can even remember. It's almost like the military. So I looked at these courses and I found a course, that certified me after 4 weeks in the Czech Republic, and they promised work, which is, catnip to the American. And I signed on the dotted line. I bought my plane ticket, and 3 months later, I said goodbye to everyone I knew, my friends, my family, and came over to a country where I didn't speak the language, where I knew nobody, and I didn't even know Czechoslovakia didn't exist anymore. That's how globally inclined I was.
I appreciate the honesty with that, Dave. And truly, I think that your experience, it's fascinating, but it's not unique. There are so many folks out there that they've never heard of this industry before. I think a lot of people can relate to your story of not not having like a calling, like, or like wanting a calling, but like, what is it? What should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? Is it going to hit me over the head one day? And I'm just going to suddenly know like what I should be doing with my life. I know I myself can very much relate to that, like searching process. And I just find it fascinating that you ran into this old classmate and she was a TEFL teacher. Where was she teaching?
She taught in South Korea.
Okay.
And I thought it was so cool. And I started looking, and then, you know, through a series of searches, I found Czech Republic.
Yeah. And so are there any things about the Czech Republic, Dave, that you would like to share? Like anything through that search process that you went through that just made it look like, this is worth checking out. This is worth heading there, at least for my first experience in EFL.
Well, I mean, when I'll take you briefly, just kind of through what went through my mind when I was searching, you know, because as an ESL teacher, you really do have the world at your fingertips, you know, but of course, different places suit different, you know, expectations, I guess, of what a lifestyle should be like. And I'd been to Europe before and I loved it. And I'm like, I need to get back here. I felt Asia might have been a little too culture shock, great for a holiday, great for a vacation, maybe not setting up a lifestyle. So I looked at Europe, and actually, honestly, first I looked at Norway. Norway, just, you know, I'm a big heavy metal fan. A lot of bands there. It just seems like it's just a really cool place. I did a report about Norway when I was in middle school. You know, just it was there. But Norway, I looked at what they wanted, what their expectations were for teachers, and they wanted real teachers. You know, like they wanted like master's degrees and, you know, backgrounds in multiple years, not former truck drivers. You know, like it's just.
They wanted more of like the career teachers that were going to take a sabbatical and go work in Norway for a year or something. Okay.
Yeah, they want people who really want to set up a life there. And I think they have the economy that allows them to make that kind of, you know, decision. So I figured let's go down to the mainland. You know, I've been to Germany before, loved Germany. Once again, you know, they wanted backgrounds. They wanted, you know, background. So if you do have a background in teaching, it's great. You know, Germany is an awesome country. But like I said, for like an you know, entry level, you know what I mean? Germany, you know, may not be the perfect place to start. And then I see this place, Czech Republic, never heard of it, you know, maybe in passing, whatnot. And then I clicked on a picture and I saw castles and bridges and old architecture and, you know, just, you know, beauty. There's, you know, like it's such a aesthetically pleasing looking country. And then I was like, all right, come on, maybe they would like something that I can offer here. And I saw there and they said, you know, we just want native speakers. You know, we were behind the Iron Curtain until 1989. We're trying to play catch up with the rest of the world. So if you are just a native English speaker, no more, no less, you have a market available for you here. And I jumped at that. I was like, sounds good, sounds great, you know. And they even said, you know, which I tell a lot of my clientele here, you don't even need a college diploma to become an English teacher in Czech Republic. Just having a TEFL certificate is certification enough for you to enter the job market in this country. And not only entering the job market, it is a job market that is begging for teachers. So, I mean, you know, I had a job not 3 days after completing my course.
Wow.
You know, and you know, the jobs they go looking for you. So no, it's so there's no like rat race out here. There's no, you know, second interview, third interview, fourth interview, 1 month, wait for them to call you. Like, I mean, you are actually pitting the businesses against each other on who's going to be worth your time, which is as an American from a blue collar city, that is like the most relieving thing. You know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love that you're sharing that with folks, because I think oftentimes, you know, where we've grown up and the experiences that we've had, they frame what we expect when we go to another country. It's only natural for that to happen. But a lot of folks that we work with, they're like, oh my gosh, like the job search process, like that just seems super stressful. And, you know, so it's just nice to hear some perspectives from folks in different parts of the world, like yourself, where you're like, hey, actually, there's a really robust job market here, and your services, or your abilities, like if you're TEFL certified, are very marketable.
Very, very. It's a really cool feeling, especially when you see people who come here who maybe never even got like a real chance to crack a market. You know what I mean? Where you actually, I mean, because you know, in Pittsburgh, I was working jobs that, you know, I never needed anything special. You know, I just had to have a pulse. You know, I just had to be a person. You know what I mean? Truck driver, you need eyes, ears. You know, no offense to the truck drivers out there. You know, I mean, it's a noble.
Hey, it's a well-paying job here in the U.S.
It is. But I
couldn't do it. Right? I'm not the best driver, so.
Yeah, right. I mean, I could talk about that, but yeah. But either way, you know, to actually have a skill set that an economy needs, desires, and like respects you for, it's a completely other feeling, and it's wonderful. Just to be, because you have esteem, you know, like you have people who want something that you can provide and are willing to, you know, economically support you for that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So then you start teaching, like you said, you got a job 3 days after you completed your TEFL. Anything you'd like to share with us, Dave, about just teaching in the Czech Republic?
Well, the teaching, I mean, also another thing I didn't know, I always thought just like teaching was teaching, you know, but there are so many facets of teaching in Czech Republic that, I mean, you know, you have something that could cater to almost anyone's expectations. You know, and once again, you know, maybe cover your ears as a language school teacher. I'm not the best with grammar. I am not, I mean, and I know that scares a lot of people because grammar is tricky. The tenses, you know, the gerunds, the infinitives, things like that. I'm actually a conversation teacher in a high school. So I walk into a classroom. By the way, high school kids in the Czech Republic are awesome. They're polite. They're cool. We have roughly the same maturity level. It's awesome. And, you know, I'll walk into a classroom and I'll just say, hey, you know, what do you think about that? You know, maybe I'll say some sort of controversial, you know, men should stay home and cook and women should go to work. What do you think? What do you think? And they just all start yelling in English. And, you know, and the school says, this is beautiful. This is wonderful. They're speaking English, you know, they're very excited to speak. And just teaching in general, it's very rewarding over here. You know, they're very grateful to have a native speaker. So, I mean, you know, and that's a term I use a lot, native speaker, because, you know, if you're born as an English speaker, and that's kind of the category they put us in. So you actually kind of get a pass by other teachers and faculty members just for being the native speaker. Okay. You know? And, but I mean, I love teaching. It's, you know, despite business, despite anything else, it's what I do. It's what I love. I could never pry myself away from it. And I work at an amazing school. I have about 200 students.
Oh my gosh, 200 students? 200
students in about 15, 20 increments, you know, per people at a time increments. Wow. And we have so much fun. We cook, we have, you know, political discussions. We solve mysteries. We read novels, American novels, British novels, and have great philosophical conversations. We have a blast. And that was just kind of the catalyst to me setting up my life here in Czech Republic. And I don't know if I put a timestamp on when I got here, but that was 10 years ago.
Wow. Okay. So
it's been about 10 years I've been in Czech Republic, and I'm tenured at my high school for the rest of my life. I have a contract that says a lifetime tenure.
Really?
So
that's fascinating.
So if I wish, I can retire from this school as a former truck driver. You know?
That's such a cool story. I didn't know that they did tenure. That's really interesting.
They do. If you give them a good 2-3 years, and they really they like the cut of your jib, you know, they'll give you. They just walked up to me one day and said, "This is a lifetime contract," and I'm like, "When does it expire?" And they said, "When you do."
So Dave, let me go back and ask you something, just out of curiosity. When you made that choice to go to the Czech Republic, how long did you think you would stay?
My plan was exactly 1 year. And I'm sure you hear this from a lot of people. I came here for 1 year,
Yep.
And I said, all right, then I'm gonna come here, gonna check it out. Then I'm gonna kind of globe trot around, bounce here, bounce there. That was 9 years ago when I was planning to leave. I did have the option to leave twice. I didn't.
Yeah.
I met my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife.
Oh.
We've gone through so much together, seen so much, and we're expecting our firstborn in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, congratulations. That's so exciting.
Thank you very much. I'm terrified. If I'm appearing to be sweating right now, it's not the summer heat.
Oh my goodness. Well, hey, we wish you all the best on the arrival of your firstborn. That's so exciting. Oh, and it is such a common story that folks are like, well, I'll just try this place. I'll sign a 1-year contract. We'll see how it goes. And then, 4 years later, they're still there.
Swallows you whole.
Yeah.
And I mean, because I came here as this like roving, I was in my late 20s, this roving, globe trotter. We're going to go tear up the world and have all these crazy stories. And now, I sold out, man. I have a car now and a driver's license and a mortgage and a life insurance policy. Oh man.
I can fully relate to a lot of what you're talking about. I went to Thailand thinking I would stay for 1 year and I stayed for 9. So I am guilty of doing some similar things.
Exactly. We drink the Kool-Aid,
Yes. So then Dave, one other question that I have for you just about life as a teacher in the Czech Republic is that if folks are watching this, maybe they're interested in going to the Czech Republic, is there anything that you would advise them to like bring with them or prepare in advance, like before they head over?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, I mean, you need to prepare yourself like item wise. Mm-hmm. And you also have to prepare yourself psychologically.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, I mean, if you're talking about things you're bringing over, bring a change of clothes. Pretend as if you're going to be, moving to a place for a while. Don't travel too heavy though. When I came here, I had a backpack and like a hockey bag with me. That was essentially my stuff. But of course, if you have a TEFL certificate, bring that with you. That is kind of your key. I mean, you can always, reach out to me and there's, specific things. Make sure you save up some money. I did not come to Czech Republic with a lot of money. I recommend other people don't do what I did. Try your best to put some money together. One cool thing is a lot of people say that they need to have a criminal background check to come to other countries to immigrate. But actually in Czech Republic, as an American, this is just for your American viewers. Sorry, you actually can get a criminal background check here in Czech Republic, but they do. And I'm not trying to say that this is good or bad, but they don't actually check your criminal background. You just go to the U.S. Embassy, raise your right hand, and promise that you've never broken.
Oh, interesting.
So it saves you on paperwork and stuff like that. And as long as you have no broken laws that affect, with teaching or anything like that, it's all right. It's a document they generate right then and there with you at the embassy. So
yeah, well, I'm glad that you bring that up, Dave, because I know that for some folks watching, they're probably like, criminal background checks, like what are they? If you're kind of new to the idea of getting your TEFL and moving abroad, but some countries are extremely strict about that paperwork, and it can be quite a headache to go through all of that. So I get where you're coming from to point that out, that hey, it's a little easier in that regard in the Czech Republic. So yeah, that's a good point. Anything else?
Well, that's the physical side.
Okay.
Then there's the mental side of it, because I think one of the biggest reasons why people may not do too hot in Czech Republic is the mentality they bring over with them. Because I mean, relocating to another country, it's not like going to Epcot Center in Disney World and just experiencing other countries with an American tone to it. Things are done differently. There's a different culture to how things are handled. Some things are better. There is, universal healthcare in the Czech Republic, And as an American, you are automatically enrolled into that once your visa is approved. So you will have the same health insurance the president has.
Wow.
However, it's very get what you pay for. You know what I mean? It's socialized medicine. The hospitals, there, you know, the doctors, you know, it's not in the dark ages, but it's not quite that American, you know, Mayo Clinic standard, things like that. So, I mean, you kind of have to go with the flow a little bit. But I mean, as far as everyone I know is healthy, I've never heard any doctor debacles here, but
We'll have to check in with you after the birth of your child to hear how that
I mean,
goes. Yeah.
I mean, I did see a doctor. This is a true story. I did see a doctor in that hospital with a Cleveland Browns shirt on, and you know, I you know, bit the lower lip a little bit. But if he delivers my child, we'll be okay. You know, bygones be bygones. But if you have a very go with the flow attitude, if you have kind of like a very like, hey, let's get in, let's get this done, and you know, expect the unexpected, and you can kind of roll with that. This country is beautiful and perfect. I mean, as far as that goes, it's definitely far from perfect, but I could say that about almost every country.
Exactly.
But I mean, but it does have its charm. It's a beautiful country. I mean, 10 years I'm still here. I think that's proof enough.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and I totally get what you're saying there, Dave, about being flexible, because anywhere you move to in the world, they're going to do things different to what you are used to. And yeah, I mean, I could rattle off a whole bunch of things about life in Thailand that's just completely different to life in North Carolina. And if you're not sensitive to that, then you just end up, you know, feeling exasperated over and over again.
Yeah, you feel frustrated, and I think you would actually feel even more like a foreigner.
Good point.
You know, I think it's more of the mentality where you kind of draw your lines in the sand and you say, how is this like America? How is this not like America? And if that's your standard, I mean, it's not America. So I think you're going to be disappointed 10 times out of 10.
Yeah. Very good point.
So that's just kind of into some of the philosophy
yes.
that over here.
Yeah. And so, Dave, I don't want to, you know, fail to point out that you run a really cool organization called VisaForce. Could you share with folks a little bit about how that came about and what you guys do?
Absolutely. So VisaForce is kind of like a paralegal agency that helps people with their relocation process. It was actually formed and started by my wife, of all people. She actually utilizes native English speakers as a means of not only speaking the language, because you know she speaks English fluently, but you know, we speak the culture. So, you know, if I tell you that a certain office in the Czech Republic is like the DMV, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes. That conjures up specific imagery in one's head if you are American.
Exactly. And also, you know, having Americans who have gone through the process, you know, we can also speak from a firsthand perspective of what to expect. What, you know, we can empathize with the frustrations and things like that. And also, we can help set you up in places that I wish I had set up when I had here. So, I mean, if you reach out to VisaForce, not only are we gonna really like, you know, we're gonna hold your hand, make sure you get through this, so it feels almost like you're planning a trip to Disney World. You know, we're gonna make sure you find work. We're gonna make sure you find a place to live. We're gonna make sure that you know if someone's, you know, taking advantage of you, you know, things like that. We're gonna be your boots on the ground. To make sure that you know you are worried more about getting your TEFL certificate. You are worried more about finding a job that you're gonna like, you're gonna enjoy, and you know spending, you know, figuring out, you know, which wine festival to go to this weekend. You know what I mean? Because they're all over the darn place. Which castle? Yeah, the important stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. You come to Czech Republic, you're gonna get wine, beer, and castles. You know, if you enjoy those three things, this country is a paradise. Because I mean, I have not had all the different beer brands in the Czech Republic yet. I've definitely not been to all the castles yet. And you know, despite my wife's best efforts, we haven't gone through all the wine yet. You know, she had to put a hold on that.
Oh yeah. But soon. She
Yeah,
can get
but
back
soon,
into
soon.
it.
But yeah, we have helped. I mean, we've been at this. VisaForce has been at this since 2016,
Okay.
and actually has helped over 2,500 people
Wow.
from all over the world, mostly from the USA. I would say about 80% of the market is American teachers.
Okay.
But I mean, there have been people from all parts of Africa, South America, Asia, Australia, like that, and you get to meet some really cool people. And also, just even coming to Czech Republic, because the capital city is Prague. There is such a multicultural and multinational population here. You will meet people from all corners of the world with all different stories to tell. And I mean, it is just constant, brain candy. It's constant stimulation. I mean, I never thought I would see so much opera in my life before coming to Prague.
From heavy metal to opera.
To opera. And I'm not going to sell the heavy metal short. The festivals in Europe are amazing. And Czech Republic has some huge ones, and they are so much fun, and they're cheap, and we camp. And it's I said, I mean, I've been here 10 years and I've been working, but I always still feel as if I am in this place of enjoyment and celebration, things like that. So no, if I'm smiling this whole interview, that's why.
That's incredible. You're really making me want to come to Prague. That's one place in Europe I have never made it to yet. And Dave and I have had a few conversations at this point. I'm like, man, Prague just sounds so cool, and all the pictures are gorgeous, and yeah. So Dave, how can folks work with VisaForce? We'll leave a link below, but can you just step us through what that process looks like briefly?
Absolutely, it's real easy. I mean, all you have to do is reach out to us. We know how to take your hand and answer your questions. We never charge money to talk. We don't charge for consultations. You just reach out and you will actually speak to someone from our company, a native speaker. You'll speak to another person from the United States, be it myself or one of my colleagues. My colleague Danielle, who is from North Carolina as well. Exactly, she represents Raleigh. That's her spot. But we'll reach out to you. We'll answer all your questions. You tell us what is your mission? What do you want to do here, and how do you want to see it done? And what I'll do is I'll give you one of us will give you a very unbiased, honest assessment of what needs to be done, how it needs to be done, and the pros and cons of each part. And that's if you want to set up a business, if you want to develop an app, if you want to do something beyond the teaching realm. Because teaching, I mean, we staff companies. We staff about 25 companies here in Prague. So I mean, you come here, you hang out with me, you're gonna have a job. I mean, it's I can set up interviews for you to get you a job here, and I'll tell you what the how much money should you ask for, what kind of economic situation to live in. We just answer all your questions because we had those questions too. 10 years isn't that much time, but once again, just best with try my best not to sound like one of those for-profit school advertisements, but the best choice I ever made was taking a TEFL course and going abroad. It's been an endless adventure since. So I mean, all you need to do is reach out to us, and
Okay.
we'll take care of the rest. Answer questions, Skype calls, Zoom calls. We'll take care of you.
Yeah, and I know we haven't mentioned it yet, Dave, but for folks that are watching and are interested in possibly coming over to the Czech Republic, I know in previous conversations that we've had, Dave has kind of walked me through some of the nuances of what that process looks like, and I can really see the value in working with someone because the Czech Republic does have some different ways of doing things, which is different from many other places around the world. So I can fully see how it would be easy if you were to go it alone, to run into some hurdles that might make your experience a little less than what it could be if you had that helping hand. Yeah. It's just like when we speak to folks about the value of preparing with their TEFL prior to heading over into a teaching experience, it's like, give yourself the time so that you feel prepared to go into it and you'll have a better experience. In this case, it's like work with someone that can navigate some of these, like they have different way of doing visas and kind of setting up some of these structures that you need in order to get a job. So it sounds like, Dave, your organization is a great option for people here in the States in particular who are looking to make that transition. So it's great that you offer that service.
And that's what we try to do. I mean, we have Americans who talk to up front, but we also have a staff of about 7 Czechs who take care of all the offices, all the paperwork, all that stuff from that, that ridiculous Czech language that after 10 years, I speak like caveman Czech. But we have a wonderful staff of really cool, really mellowed out people who enjoy helping, and they enjoy meeting, the clients, because to them, we're the exotic foreigners. We're the ones, and they're like, ooh, you're from a faraway land, America. Tell me about this Pittsburgh, And I'm like, we put French fries on our food.
Well, Dave, before we hop off here, any last words of advice for folks watching who are like, I don't know, it sounds interesting. I'm feeling nervous. Should I do this whole EFL? Possibly move to the Czech Republic thing. Any last words of advice?
Last words of advice, I would say, life is short. Take a chance, have an adventure. Nothing I've done in the last 9 years I've been here has been anything that I planned to do. And everything that has happened has been nothing short of a hard-earned blessing on myself and my family. It's fabulous. And come to Czech Republic, first beer's on me.
They're going to hold you to that, Dave.
hold me to it. I will buy the first beer for anyone who wants to come over from TEFLPros.
Oh, it's awesome. Thanks so much, Dave.
Absolutely. You're very welcome, and have a good one. Thank you.